And we're back for episode 4 and the final podcast episode for Tooth and Tail.
We're getting her done.
Get her done.
A saying my dad says way too often.
What comedian said that? I don't know the guy's name.
Tim
I know
Allen,
it's
maybe?
No. It's the redneck guy.
Oh. The guy that voices Mater.
Yeah, but I don't know his name. Anyway. Yeah.
That's gonna bother me.
Just look it up.
Oh, Larry the Cable Guy.
Yeah, but what's his real name?
Who cares?
I don't think it's Larry. That's a character he plays, right? That's not
yeah,
really...
I know, but that's what his most.
He's not really like that at all.
Isn't his name Larry though?
Larry David. No, it's not Larry.
That's not the Larry David's a completely different.
That's what I'm fucking around.
Did you know Larry David's apparently a third cousin to Bernie Sanders?
That's what I heard. They did a DNA thing, and he was related to somebody.
Damn it! I'm looking up Larry David now.
I heard they did a DNA test thing with him, and he was related to somebody.
Oh, Daniel Lawrence Whitney.
Yeah. His name.
So his real name is Daniel.
Yeah,
Interesting.
It's a character. It's not anything.
I would
like
be interested to meet him when he's not in character.
They have a couple videos online. It's worth looking up, man.
Is his voice completely different as well?
There's no accent.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's a character. It's completely different.
Even Larry,
he's like method acting type deal.
Interesting.
For that.
So
I don't know if that's a good way to go about it.
So
It's not
Mater
really
is
method acting,
just
but
a
yeah.
version of Larry the Cable Guy.
Kind of. I mean, I think he kept the same voice, but I don't think he's like.
Well,
still
the comedy is still different.
It's still kind of hillbilly a little bit, like simple.
Where he was born.
Comparatively to Lightning McQueen, to where he's like overcomplicated, gotta win races, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
He's more like laid back and chill, and just like.
Yeah, he's
hey,
from
man.
Nebraska, so he probably has a slight accent, but not as over the top as that.
Yeah, we'll look it up between episodes when we go to do Bully next.
I mean, my dad's a bit of a redneck, not in like the racist redneck way, but he grew up in the Midwest. So his high school...
He's self-sufficient.
He's very self-sufficient.
And
he has a little bit of an accent, and he's one of those guys that knows how to does everything. From wiring to...
Compared to like our Cali accent?
Yeah, he's a little... It's not entirely there now, but I remember growing up, people saying...
Your dad sounds funny.
No, not even my dad sounding funny, but that we had a little bit of an accent. Because everyone in my family's from the Midwest.
Yeah, but weren't you born in Cali?
I was born in Cali.
Yeah.
Which was odd hearing that, saying I had a little bit of Midwestern accent, which maybe
I guess maybe hearing your family growing up, maybe you
just being around my family so much,
yeah,
it would rub off a little bit. It's not entirely...
Well, I mean, you get dialect influence.
Yeah, you get dialect influence wherever you are, which is one of the more interesting things about human culture, and just the way, like...
I feel like we talked about this before.
I think we've talked about it before, but it's probably one of those things that fascinates me the most is how you can go to Ireland or you can go to London, not London, but like Britain.
Yeah.
And there's so many different dialects.
Yeah.
And just in America as well, there's so many different dialects. We all speak
melting pot style.
Melting pot.
Well, we don't all speak English, but the majority of us speak English or a dialect of English, Spanglish, or
English
whatever.
Being the...
I don't know any other cool hybrid versions of Spanglish and English or English, Spanish and English or any other language in English.
So just we're just gonna pick English for one. It's the... I think it's the official language.
American. There's no official language.
There's no official language. Okay. Well, it's the common tongue. It's the most common.
Yeah.
It's the most common English.
Statistically, I think.
Statistically, being the most common language in America. And for certain places such as Louisiana, which had a huge French colony. Louisiana and other places because New Orleans was a French colony at one point, which explains a lot of the accent being a mixture of English and French.
Yeah, French-glish.
Yeah, French-glish.
Doesn't work.
And a little bit of other different cultures. I just think it's really interesting that so many different places, especially stuff as small as Britain, in comparison, having so many different dialects from so many different areas. But as a culture, that dialect all grows on one body of people. But then in one town over, there'll be a completely different dialect, like in Ireland or whatnot.
I don't know a whole lot about Britain. I think maybe it's economic based.
It might
because of neighborhoods and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because if you, it's hard to understand if you don't know. But if you took how the north and Bay Area, California. If you took how NorCal talks and how SoCal talks,
it's very different.
which is North Carolina, North Carolina,
South Carolina.
North California, and South
Southern
California. If you guys
Don't know.
the terms, we talk differly. And
Yeah, there's
like I
different
didn't
speech
think we did
patterns.
when I was a lot younger, till I realized I'm like I kind of do have like that like stoner surfer kind of lingo
A little bit.
about me, and I never noticed it, and it's not intentional. But when I noticed it, I'm like, oh,
Oh shit! I thought I was smart. Fuck.
I'm like I got a little valley girl in me. Fuck. You know, like what I'm saying, like
Yeah.
like you know what it's like.
It became
like
more
that.
apparent when we were recording.
Yeah.
We
Well,
do-
when I hear my own voice
Yeah.
on a recording, I'm like, I sound fucking stupid.
I'm not as smart as I think I am.
I should be more. What would the term be? Should be more patient with people because I sound like a tard.
Yeah. It becomes more apparent. There are some people that take it to the extremes, and we do a decent job pushing it out, but it's just part of, I guess, the Californian life.
Yeah.
Like is such a common word.
It's
and
gonna-
I've started to notice it more and more ever since we came across that Valley Girl
At BART.
on BART.
Yeah.
It's
Which is
become-
our Bay Area rapid transit
Yeah.
system. It's our trains.
helps us get from the Bay, like East Bay, South Bay, and San Francisco Bay Area
Yeah.
much easier than having to drive everywhere. It's
Anyway.
gross, and it's also fucking fantastic at the same time.
It's gotten better.
It's much better than it has been in recent
There's a
years.
lot worse trains out there. Like
They
the
have
New
made
York
so
train
many
system.
improvements.
I haven't been there, but I heard it's
Well,
disgusting.
it's a little gross, but the nice thing about the New York subway system, because I've ridden it a couple times, I went to New York back in 2003 when I was in high school.
I was about to say that's for the band thing, right?
Yeah, for the band trip, we got to play at Carnegie Hall, which was fucking amazing. And a couple other little places there, like there were I just did it. Like there were schools. When I say like, there were schools from all around the world. There was a school from Japan. There was a school from England. It was a high school competition. But while we were there,
What was it like?
It was actually really cool.
Just joking. I
We
wanted
got
try
to
and
pal
put, like,
around
in
with the
there somewhere.
Japanese band. Have you ever seen the movie? What is it? It's not. It's
Is
not
it like a
Drumline.
music?
It's a music
based-
based. It just came out with
okay, I
J.K.
haven't.
Simmons a
I
couple
have
years
not.
ago.
Oh, it's the drumming one, right?
drumming one.
Where it's the drummer's the main character, and he's
Yeah.
I haven't seen it. I've watched an in-depth analysis and a review of it, and it looks interesting, but I haven't seen it. It's not stronger, is it?
No, it's not stronger. Regardless, you people probably know.
You people.
Okay, audience, you probably have heard of this movie. I just can't think of it.
Yeah.
It's not Crash, but it's something around.
It's in one word. It might be Crash.
Maybe. Anyways, in that movie,
Yeah.
they go and they play at an auditorium, and even though it's not Carnegie Hall, the end of the movie where they're playing their final gig, the green room, really brought me back because it feels a lot like that room. I was seeing it, and it kind of took me back a couple of years when that whole event went down. I'm like, was I in that? Is that actually the room? Because it looks eerily similar to the one in Carnegie Hall.
Was it based off of Carnegie Hall, or was
I
it?
don't know. I know that it takes place at Juilliard, and that is in New York City and New York. So I assume that the concert, it felt like Carnegie Hall. I knew it wasn't. I believe they called it Carnegie Hall for the movie. I went through it a couple times, and I knew it wasn't because I remember playing in there. It feels very similar, but if you've ever actually been to Carnegie Hall, it's much larger, more spacious. It's probably one of the coolest things.
Well, I mean,
I've been part of.
I don't know really anything about New York or Carnegie Hall in general, but I recognize the name, so I understand that it's a big deal.
Yeah.
By the way, I looked that up. It's not Crash.
What is it called?
It's some other movie with J.K. Simmons and the drummer dude.
What is the
And
name of it, though?
He like punches him or some shit, right? I don't know. I don't even know what to look
Well,
up.
okay, J.K. Simmons.
J.K. Simmons drum movie or
Drum
something.
movie.
Like it's not specifically drums. There are other instruments.
There are other
right?
instances. It's a jazz band.
Yeah.
Whiplash. That's what it's called.
Whiplash.
Thank you.
I knew it was one word, and I was like, ugh.
Very good movie. It over dramatizes how crazy band directors are, but
I don't know, man.
some band directors, while not to that level, it did bring a lot of memories back about how some of my drum majors were and other people that I was in band. Just for some context for
I've
audience.
Specifically seen like a cheerleader. I don't know what the, not cheerleader majors, but you know, the equivalent. The cheerleader, like I guess the directors or the people who kind of organize it and go through it. I've seen a lot of them be super strict to the point of like injuring their own people. Yeah. So I imagine something like Carnegie Hall or a major, you know, jazz session or something. It's very extreme.
The director, based on some of his own experience with band directors, taken up a little bit.
Well, you gotta dramatize a movie slightly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can see it. I can see it being something that happened. I mean, think about. Oh God, I wish I knew more about the story, but think about the guy who was the producer for one of the famous bands, and he like held a gun to him while they were recording because he wanted to get like a perfect take and keep them in there. I think it might have been I don't know who it was. I'm not even gonna sound stupid, but famous producer held his band hostage basically to do a record, and the record was like really good. So, I mean, he got work, he got shit done. But, I mean, at what cost?
Before this episode cuts out, because we only have like 40 seconds left, for context for people, I played trumpet in high school for wind ensembles, jazz ensembles. I was also in marching band. So that's why I played at Carnegie Hall. Our wind ensemble and our jazz ensemble got to play there.
Gotcha.
I wasn't in the jazz ensemble yet. I was still a freshman. So just wind ensemble.
Cool.
It was awesome still.
What's an ensemble?
A collection of instruments.
It's basically like a chorus type thing? I guess chorus is vocals. Fuck it, whatever. We'll figure it out later. Anyway, guys, we'll see you next time. This will be the end of the podcast for Tooth and Tail. Beep, bop, boop.
More religious xenophobia and zealotry than the people in masses can handle.
Yes. Agreed.
Let's spread more xenophobia. Why not?
Jesus, man.
I don't know. Are they spreading xenophobia or are they just spreading zealotry?
I think it's them being zealots.
Yeah.
Xenophobia is
the fear of others.
Which